Question 17. This is an angles question again. So you can see there's parallel lines here. So we're looking at angles and parallel lines. This angle X is the same as 33 degrees here. So that's what X would be, is 33 degrees. These two angles are called corresponding angles because they're in the same positions here. So the next one is for Y. And you can see these angles here, the Y is 54. This is because it is alternate angles. And alternate angles is just like a Z. So these two angles inside here should be the same. Question 18 is basically putting it into a calculator and getting your answer. So you would get the top part of the fraction first, which square root of 1.1 times 4.4, put it in your calculator, should get 2.2. And then the bottom is the same. You just key that into your calculator, you get 0.55, and then just key that into your calculator, which would be 4. Okay. Question 19. Pat buys 30 boxes of crisps. Each box contains 48 packets of crisps. He sells 80% of the crisps at 60p a packet. How many packets does he sell at this price? Now we do 30 times 48. That is 1,440 packets. Because there's 30 boxes and 48 packets in each box, we find out the total of the packets he's got. And then he sells 80% of the crisps at 60p a packet. We find out 80% of 1,440, which means he sold 1,152 packets. So for question 2 there, how much in total does he sell them for? So for these packets, it was 60p a packet. So 1,152 times 60p, and that is 6,900 or 69,120 pence. Now, to change pence to pounds, we divide by 100. So that would be £691 and 20 pence. So he sells the rest at 20p a packet. Pat paid £25 for each box of crisps. Does Pat make a profit or loss, and how much is this profit or loss? So when you're dealing with profit and loss, you're basically wanting to find out the total he's bought and the total he's sold and see if he makes money or not. So for this first one, you would do 1,440 take away 1,152. So that is basically what he's sold already. So he's got 288 packets to sell. Now he sold those packets at 20p a packet. So we've got 5,760 pence, which then becomes £57.60. So that basically that's just dividing by 100. And then we've done 30 times 25, which is equal to £750. Now that's how much he bought all of these boxes for. We can see it in here. It says he paid £25 for each box of crisps, and he bought 30 boxes of crisps. So that's how much he bought them all for. So for the last part of it, we add up what we've sold. So it'll be £691.20 and £57.60. So that's how much he got back for selling those crisps. Then 750 take away £748.80, which then becomes a £1.20 loss. Didn't make any money on it. So for question 20, it's a scatter graph question. You can see that these in bold have been plotted. These were plotted for you in the question, and the rest of them you had to plot yourself. So that's what we've done. You can see like numbers of nights missed was the x-axis here, and test score was the y-axis. So we're just going like for E, it would be 2 across and 80 up. 2 across and 80 up, and you just keep plotting them like that. So question B, it says draw the line of best fit. So when you look back in the graph, the line of best fit is drawn there. So that just means you're splitting those points up equally, trying to kind of draw a line so each point's same amount of each points is on each side of that line. So the next part is another pupil missed 4 nights of the course. Use the graph to estimate the test score. So we look at 4 nights here, draw a line up till it hits the line and just draw across. So you can see it looks roughly about 65 here, or 55. So you can see this one here is 55 for the answer. So what type of correlation does your graph show? So when we look back at the graph, when it's going down like this, it's usually a negative correlation. If it was going the opposite way or up the way, it would be a positive correlation. But for this diagram, it is a negative correlation. So question 21, it says a garden has a flower bed in the corner. A diagram of the garden is shown below. So we have a right angle triangle. So these are the kind of things you look out for. Right angle triangles, it could be area of a triangle, it could be like Pythagoras, that kind of thing. So calculate the area of the flower bed. So the area is the area of a triangle. So area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So all we're doing is just multiplying these two numbers together and dividing it by 2. And 8.64 would be your answer. So there is a fence along line AB separating the flower bed from the grass area. How long is this fence? So we're looking for the length of this one. So if we're looking for the right angle triangle, this would be your hypotenuse. So this is what we're looking for here. So we're going to be using Pythagoras. So x would be the hypotenuse. So it's x squared equals 4.8 squared plus 3.6 squared. So we square each of those numbers and add them together. Once we've done that, it's 36, and then we square root the answer, which is x is equal to 6. So that's the length of that fence there. So question 22, it says, last year a company spent a total of £2,400 on advertising. This year they spent £2,796. What was the percentage increase in their spending on advertising? So this is a percentage change question. So the first thing you would do is take away those two numbers to find out how much it increased by. So we see that it's increased by 396. Next, we put the 396 and we put it over the starting value, which was 2,400. And to change this fraction here, we times it by 100 to make it into a percentage. And it should turn out as 16.5%. So question 23 is a compound interest question. So Best Bank offers 3-year investment account with a fixed compound interest rate of 1.75% per annum. Mr. Lucas invests £8,000 in this account. What is the value of his investment at the end of a 3-year period? Because it says compound interest, we're following steps along these lines here. So the first thing we do is we do 1.75% of 8,000. And this is how I've written the 1.75%, and we do it over 8,000, which is 140. Next, we just add that to the investment here. So 8,000 plus 140 is 8,140, which is after the first year. Now this value gets carried on into the second year, and we do more or less the same. So it's basically getting 1.75% of this value, which is 142.45, and we add that on again, and that is after the second year. And because the question says 3 years, so we have to do exactly the same again. So we bring the new value down and we get 1.75% of that. and we add it on, and that should be what we've got after 3 years. So it'll be £8,427.39.